everybody. I wanted to come on today and just start to share a little bit. Actually, in celebration of finally getting everything rigged up in my van, it's been quite the process. I'll show you guys more about that, but when I have like more of a mobile videoing setup. But I finally got my new K8 medical grade water ionizing system machine set up into my van, and I have like all the pre-filters that I wanted and everything is rigged up. So now I'm officially starting to drink this therapeutic water, and so I wanted to come on for my first live stream about the water and just my journey up until this point, and just to celebrate this moment. I'm not gonna get into like all the nitty-gritty details today, but something that's really like alive on my heart right now that I wanted to share with you is just what a crazy epic process it's been to get to this point of receiving like this new transmission and download on the water into my life. And I want to share, for those of you who don't know, almost exactly a year ago, at the end of January last year, January 21st, I sponsored a prayer meeting for my birthday. And for those of you who know, you know, and for those of you who don't, I'm not going to get into all of that right now, but it's a pretty big deal. I invited a chief medicine woman who came from Texas, and we had 24 women sitting up all night together and making a big prayer, coming together to pray, to heal. And I sponsored it and I hosted it in our house in North Carolina. And it was a pretty big deal. It was the first time I did something like that. I had to learn a lot of things. And I also was responsible for the main smoke prayer. And, you know, it was a pretty big deal. I was turning 33, and so I wanted to do that for my birthday. And if any of you guys know how the year has gone since that moment, you know, it's really, really rough, and my whole life basically fell apart. And I'm smiling right now because, you know, they say if it's not good, it's not the end yet. And I still don't think it's the end. I have no idea how long this prayer is going to be unfolding for, you know? Like, it's a great mystery. But one of the main things that I prayed for was for the full restoration of the divine blueprint of my own pristine waters. The waters of my body, but also like one and the same, the waters of the earth. You know, praying through that restoration of the water in my cells, the restoration of the water of the whole planet. And that was like the crux of my prayer, right? And then I thought it was starting to happen last January, February. I actually got introduced to this type of water therapy that I was doing, and I also started doing this this infrared therapy that was starting to like melt parts of my body system, I think. And it sort of started this like, I feel like the way that I conceptualize it is it started this like melting of an iceberg, like which eventually became basically an avalanche that totally overwhelmed me. And I ended up having like months and months and months of crying so much that like one of the main commodities I was going through in my life, like even more than food or any given food item, was Kleenex boxes. Because I like a good tissue. If you're gonna be crying and blowing your nose that much, like you can't even use toilet paper, you know? Like, you need a good tissue. So I went through a lot of boxes of that, and like all this snot and all these tears. And, you know, of course, like, it was the devastation of what was happening in my life that was causing that. And so I was like, this is like, why is this happening? This is so bad. I made this prayer for my life to become good, you know? And it took me like half a year. I don't know how long it took me, but basically I was like, oh, maybe this is like part of the purification process of my waters, which is what I prayed for, you know? Like, this is a tricky thing when you pray for something, like, we don't know how that's going to be delivered, right? So I was like, okay, maybe I'm being like wrung out and there's some kind of purification happening. So again, just months upon months upon months upon months of this wringing out, this crying, this snotting, this like grief processing and all of this stuff. Like, I've gotten now to a new place. You know, something's happened. I've been introduced now to a new water system that's come into my life. And as a lot of you know, I've been working as a health coach this last year, working on helping people learn how to flush the liver, how to clean this stuff out. And I feel like I've been working on the physical health journey for so long. And then this last year, I was like really moving into the emotional side of things. And then now again, after turning over, like squeezing all of that out, now I've been introduced, I'm being basically upgraded into my water system again. And I'm like, wow, this is also part of the prayer working, you know, like turning out. So some of the main things that I want to share about it, just like on the most basic level, is like, okay, yes, of course, Siena has already been working with filtered water, has been working with electrolytes, you know. But most fundamentally, like, I've been a real stickler for getting out all of the toxicity out of the water. And, you know, I like had the privilege of living in North Carolina, where we had a whole property that was on spring water, and it was so incredible. And I got to take baths in it and all of this stuff. But a lot of the water that I've drank over the last few years is actually reverse osmosis. And like I've gotten really into getting it like totally clean and clear, and then sort of like remineralizing it or adding different things to it. And it's still really important to get the toxins out and all of the bad crazy stuff. Like, our municipal waters situations are just like, they were bad, and it's just getting worse. It's, you know, it's an absolutely crucial step to not be drinking unfiltered water. But then a lot of people drink bottled water, and again, today I'm not going to totally get into that, but I just want to clarify that one of the pieces that I was missing, perhaps, that's sort of this like next level that I'm getting into, is the like livingness quality of the water. So, and this is so cool because I'm like really into I really love the body processes and the mechanisms and of everything. And I feel like I'm really excited about the electrical parts of the body, like just how to make things more efficient. And that was one of the things I was praying about with the water, actually, was like about the mitochondria and about the cells, and like how to restore that terrain, like as if the water is like, you know, fresh mountain spring water bubbling down the rocks from the mountain, you know, tumbling and crashing, and there's all these ions, and there's all this beautiful like electrolyzed water and ionic water in the air, right? And at the same time, I've just been drinking water that's basically can't even hold a charge. It's, you know, RO is pretty dead water, and then you can say that you add minerals and stuff back into it, but it's a whole different thing than actually having like electrically active water. So like all of a sudden, like, knew nothing about it really, started to hear a little bit more about it, but then this particular like OG machine, medical grade from Japan, really epic bones of this machine came into my world, came into my field, and I was like, wow, yes, I don't know what I've been doing without this, but I, you know, figured out how to make that happen in my life, and now it's happening. So I'm at the beginning of a journey. I'm going to document it. I'm going to share as I go and share what I'm learning about this water. This machine actually makes 6 different kinds of water, which is really exciting for me because they can be used for all different kinds of things, both medically and therapeutically, but also like in terms of for cleaning and household products and like toners and beauty. It makes a beauty water that's like really great for your skin and all this stuff. So I'm going to be exploring that and sort of pushing the boundaries too, because a couple of these waters that it makes are considered cleaners and are, not recommended to drink. But I have some tricks up my sleeve. I have some ideas about sort of turning some of these products from this machine into actual therapeutic interventions that we can apply as healing protocols, especially as we're trying to detoxify or we're trying to reestablish the gut microbiome. We're trying to reduce pathogen load, whether that's like the micros of the viruses or whether that's the big parasites. And this particular kind of water, electrolyzed reduced water, has a really high antioxidant rating, and it has a really high amount of available hydrogen gas. And this hydrogen, basically it's like a scavenger, but it works on particular things. And it can really clean up the bloodstream. So I think this is going to be really crucial moving into this in the day and age that we're in, seeing so many issues with the blood clotting, thickening. There's a lot of reasons why our bloodstreams are getting really toxic and getting kind of bogged down and getting stagnant. And what this water is capable of doing, because it has been like declumped, it's been broken down into smaller particles, and this allows it to get into different areas of the body that other types of hydration or other types of water aren't going to be able to get. And like this is going to really, really help with treating things like cancer or different areas where there's like a sequestered toxic site of the body that is likely not getting proper hydration. It's not getting proper oxygenation. So this is going to be delivering hydrogen, but it's also going to be delivering oxygen. And yes, it's kind of confusing because you would think that water already is delivering those two things, but it's a little bit different because this is like, it's almost like you're electrocuting the water, you're splitting it up, and you're making it more ionic. So those are all of a sudden turned into the negative oxygen, the positive hydrogen. They can scavenge, they have extra electrons, and so they can bind and like activate different types of processes in the body. So it's really a totally different thing, even though it's kind of confusing, but it's the form that these elements are in, as opposed to sort of bound together in this liquid water. They have been transformed into sort of like a higher activated component. So that's a little basic explanation. I have heard really great things about helping with arthritis and helping with autism. The hydrogen actually is really, really great for, it's like extremely therapeutic to the nervous system. So these are a couple things that I'm going to be keeping an eye on for myself. Is I'd like to see some shifting with the arthritic issues that I have going on. So I'm going to keep you posted on that. This water drinking, it definitely is talked about in like a cumulative way. So again, I'm kind of just starting the journey. I'm going to work my way up to drinking, hopefully up to 4 quarts a day, because they say if you are chronically ill that you should kind of work up to your full body weight in ounces. I have gotten a lot, I'm so much less sick than I used to be, but I still would really like to see some of these sort of lingering things just eliminated. So I consider myself to still be not fully vital. So I'm gonna apply the therapeutic water in that way. They do say sometimes we're not just sick, we're just dehydrated. And even though like I have been a huge proponent for hydration for a long time and really, really getting that under lock and helping the kidneys and the adrenals in this way, I think that I have been missing a crucial factor that may have just been found thanks to all of my hard work over the last year and my prayer and the universe for delivering this incredible new system and opportunity in my life to share this magical medical tool. I am an Aquarian and it's the age of Aquarius, and I like nothing better than some kind of robot to help us with our health and with our life. People who know me know that I like my gadgets. So, but there's nothing more important than our water, right? We are more than 70% made up of water. So, like, let's try to really optimize that and see. We already have so many things in line, right? Like, if you're already taking care of the food, you already know, what kind of minerals you're needing and stuff like that. The water situation and actually getting the circulation working properly is going to help deliver and distribute those things in a way more effective way. So I'm looking forward to actually amplifying the effects of the supplements and minerals and foods that I'm already taking. So join me on the journey, and if you have any questions or any interest to learn more about this or particular questions that I can sort of get into with longer topics, please drop them in the comments and I will get back to you. Many blessings to you all. May all beings be liberated. I'm Siena Songbird and wish you a beautiful day.